All right, welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our RBT exam practice question series, where we're going through another set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. Check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. When you pass your exam, please let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. Mark is feeding his son, who is throwing his broccoli onto the floor. Mark tells his son, pick up what you threw on the floor, and then points at the broccoli. What type of prompt is used in this scenario? So we have a pretty straightforward prompt question. The question is explicitly asking about the prompt. So I'm pretty sure Mark is using a prompt. So what do we know so far? We know Mark is feeding his son, and the son throws the broccoli onto the floor. Mark then tells his son, pick up what you threw on the floor. So that is our SD. And then following the SD should be the prompt. And so our prompt is going to be Mark pointing at the broccoli. Now, if we give the SD and then we point or motion towards what we want to accomplish or what we want to see accomplished, what type of prompt are we really describing? And that would be a gestural prompt. Mark says, pick up what you threw on the floor, and then gestures at the broccoli. So pretty straightforward gesture prompt, but we're going to read every single answer choice every single time. Be a verbal prompt. Pointing at the broccoli is not a verbal indication. It's not Mark verbally telling the son to do it. He's gesturing at the broccoli. It isn't a physical prompt because Mark isn't physically prompting the son. He isn't touching the son or hand over handing the son and guiding him towards the broccoli. And it's not positional because Mark isn't manipulating the broccoli. He's simply gesturing towards the broccoli to prompt his son to pick up the broccoli from the floor. So the prompt used in the scenario is going to be gestural. Very easy, straightforward prompting question. If you get a very simple question on the exam, don't overthink it. Just trust your preparation, answer it, and let's move on. Whenever it is bedtime, Gabby's mom will say, "Are you ready for bed?" which leads to Gabby saying no, no, and running away from her mom. If Gabby's mom starts to ignore the no, no from Gabby while providing praise for Gabby complying with her request, what is Gabby's mom likely attempting? We're looking at Gabby's mom here. And what is Gabby's mom attempting? And what do we mean by that? What do we know so far? You always want to ask yourself, what do I know so far? Notice we're not jumping right to the answers. We're looking at the question and understanding the question. We know when it's bedtime, Gabby's mom says, "Are you ready for bed?" Gabby says, "No, no." So Gabby's mom is going to try something different. She's ignoring the no, no, and then praising Gabby for complying with the request. So if she's ignoring the no, no, she's in a way putting this on extinction while reinforcing for the appropriate behavior. So when we put one behavior on extinction and we start reinforcing another behavior, what do we call that? What is Gabby's mom likely attempting? A response cost procedure. What the response cost? In response to a behavior, we are removing something. It's a punishment procedure. Gabby's mom is not using punishment here. She's using extinction for the no, no and reinforcement. So B is also out, a positive punishment procedure. Gabby's mom is not adding anything as a consequence to punish Gabby. She's just withholding reinforcement for the no, no. She's using extinction. What about timeout from reinforcement? Again, Gabby's mom is not removing Gabby's ability to contact reinforcement. In fact, if Gabby complies, Gabby can easily earn reinforcement. So what Gabby's mom is very likely implementing will be this differential reinforcement procedure. Now, this is a good fluency question. If you're not fluent and you don't know what response cost is, that could be a confusing possible option. But when you're fluent, you're going to immediately recognize response cost as being one, punishment, and two, not applying to the situation. And so you should pretty quickly be able to identify this as differential reinforcement. We've got our extinction, we've got our reinforcement. That's what Gabby's mom is likely attempting. You've been working with a client for 4 months on functional communication training and asking for a snack when they are hungry. You believe today they finally mastered that skill, so you stop working on that target. 2 weeks go by and your client is still asking for you for a snack. What is displayed most here? All right, this is good, right? This is what you want to see. You work with a client for a long time on FCT, and this target asking for snack. You say or believe they mastered the skill, so you stop working on the target. 2 weeks later, client is still asking for snack. Now, why is that good? That's good because we want to know that even when we're done teaching something, that skill remains. Very, very important in teaching, especially with many of the populations we work with. When we teach something, we want to make sure it sticks. It doesn't go away. And what do we call that? When we can identify a skill still being there once teaching stops. A, maintenance of the skill. Yes, this client has maintained the ability to ask for a snack. It's exactly what we're trying to identify. And that's what's displayed here. They mastered the skill. You stop teaching. 2 weeks go by with no teaching. Skill remains. That's maintenance. What about B, generalization? Now, maintenance is, on a technical level, considered a generalization idea. And when you get maintenance or generalization, you want to pick the better option. In this case, we're much more describing maintenance, right? We're not describing generalization really in terms of setting or persons. We're more describing we were teaching something, we stopped teaching it, and the skill continued. We're very much more describing maintenance here. And then C, regression. One thing about regression is it's not an ABA term. Now you'll probably hear it in practice, but it's not going to be a term you're tested on, not a scientific term we're going to use. Two, even if it was, this client hasn't regressed. This client is clearly maintaining what we taught them. We taught them how to ask for a snack when they're hungry. They mastered that skill. We stopped teaching it. They still ask for snack. Your client displayed maintenance of that skill. Following a task analysis, Jace was taught how to put on his floaties before jumping into the pool. First step was to grab his floaties, and the final step was to check with his parents that they were put on correctly. If Jace was first reinforced for checking that they were on correctly, then what strategy was likely used? All right, we have a task analysis, task chain question. Remember, task analysis comes first. We're going to analyze and break down the skill, create our steps, and we're going to teach those steps using a task chain. Now, it's important to identify when reinforcement occurs in this chain. And the chain we know is Jace putting on floaties before jumping into the pool. We know the first step is grabbing the floaties. Final step, check with parents. Now, stop there. In a task chain, if we were to first teach Jace to grab his floaties independently and reinforce for that, we would be forward chaining. If instead we reinforced Jace first for checking with parents, we're likely backwards chaining, because if we're reinforcing that last step first, backwards chaining. In this case, Jace was first reinforced for checking they were on correctly. So very likely we were using some sort of backwards chaining procedure here, where we prompted Jace through the steps. That final step was Jace's responsibility to do on his own, which was check with his parents, possibly because that's the most important step, making sure they're on correctly. And that's when Jace would receive reinforcement. So it's very unlikely we were using forward chaining. If it was forward chaining, Jace would have been reinforced for grabbing the floaties first, but Jace was first reinforced for backwards, for checking on they were on correctly, the last step first. That would be backwards chaining. It isn't total task chaining. With total task chaining, we're teaching the entire chain at once. It is a behavior chain interruption strategy. With the behavior chain interruption strategy, exactly what it sounds like. We're interrupting a chain in the middle of it to try to see new behavior. But behavior chain interruption happens once the essential steps of a chain are mastered. We just started teaching it. It's not going to be a behavior chain interruption strategy at this point. It's most likely we're using some sort of backwards chaining because Jace is being reinforced first for that last step. Behavior technicians must prepare for data collection whenever they are scheduled to work with a client. When should preparation for data collection be complete? All right, straight from the task list, very straightforward, very simple. When should data collection preparation be done? Because prior to your sessions, and that's the answer, we want to be prepared. We don't want to show up to session and then try to get ready. Everything needs to be done prior to session. So when you show up to session, you can immediately start whatever it is you're meant to do that day. But when should preparation for data collection be complete? A, prior to the start of session. Not B, not as soon as you arrive to session, because you're wasting time and every minute is valuable for a client. Not C, following a 15-minute setup period once session starts. That is way too long to be getting prepared. You're wasting valuable time doing something you should already have been done with. And then D, preparation should be done following session. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We need to be prepared for session when session is starting. Preparation for data collection has to be complete, A, prior to the start of session. Thank you for watching. Please check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials. Subscribe for all of our updates. When you pass your exam, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. See you soon.